Welcome back, Pokemon fans. My name is Angel of the Night 091, and I hope your body is ready because we are getting into battle number 2 versus good old Retronyte. Let's kick it retro and jump into the match. Alright guys, let's get this battle started. Now this is battle number 2 out of 3 with my good old buddy Retronyte. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, be sure to check out the link in the description below. We're going to lead off here with a Tinkaton. He's going to lead off here with his Torkoal. Now one thing that I do need to mention is that we did agree upon switching out our teams. So we did just that. Now some of the Pokemon that Retronyte is going to be using is going to be somewhat similar to what he did in the previous video. However, there are some twists to some of these Pokemon. So he leads off with the Torkoal. Of course, we've got good old Tinkaton, Steel and Fairy. We ended up going in for the Fake Out here because we knew what was going to end up happening. He was either going to go in and set up some rocks, or he was going to swap out to a different Pokemon. However, I did not predict he was going to go into a Cerulege. Now, Cerulege, of course, is a Ghost-type Pokemon, and that Fake Out did absolutely nothing. Now, at the time, I'm trying to decide what my best option is to bring in against this Cerulege. I know that Cerulege is going to be very special attack oriented. However, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Baxcalibur. Now, Baxcalibur, of course, is an Ice Dragon type Pokemon. If you guys seen my tweets, this was bred out of 3 boxes of eggs using the Masuda method. I'm extremely excited, extremely happy about that because, quite frankly, it is a 6IV shiny. The next thing is we do have the Thermal ability, so of course any fire moves do boost our attack stat. He's going to go in for the the Shadow Sneak here. We actually managed to live the attack, and we managed to get a Glaive Rush off. Now, if you guys don't know what Glaive Rush is, this is an extremely powerful Dragon-type move that does some serious damage. However, if the Pokemon on the opposing side lived, my Glaive Rushing Baxcalibur would be too close to the opponent, and we get extra damage the next turn, or that next play from that opposing Pokemon, especially if they're slower. At this time, he's going to decide what Pokemon he's going to bring in. Will it be his Torkoal? Will it be another Pokemon? That is all up in the air at this point there, folks, because quite frankly, he's got 4 other amazing Pokemon. However, he is going to go back in with his Torkoal here, of course. Most likely, he probably has some sort of like a Heat Rock, probably to keep that Sun up, because I feel like his team might be based surrounding around Sun, just because of the fact that he has 2 fire Pokemon on his team. I ended up going in for the Glaive Rush there once again. We get some serious damage off onto that Torkoal. Unfortunately, we are not able to take him out, and he ends up picking up the KO. Now, here's an awesome Pokemon coming into play. Here is Pawmot. Now, Pawmot, of course, is an electric fighting type Pokemon, but it has one really interesting move, and I know you guys just saw it there. Before we get into that, we're going to go for the Fake Out here. We want to get some damage off onto this Torkoal. However, he's going to do the Swippity Swap. He's going to go back to Retronyte's team and come in with his Glimmora. Now, Glimmora, of course, any kind of an attack that comes off onto Glimmora sets up these toxic spikes. They call them as toxic debris, but really they're just toxic spikes. So he gets a little bit of the Black Sludge, regaining his health there. However, this is the exact moment where we want to go for the Revival Blessing. That is right, guys. We have Revival Blessing on this Pawmot. And Pawmot is one of the only Pokemon, I think, that gets it. So we're going to use that. And what that allows us to do, it allows us to regain half the hit points of a fainted ally. So we're actually going to bring back Baxcalibur, because quite frankly, Baxcalibur is one of my big bad pokes on this team, and I'm really, really excited to use him up against Retronyte. It's one of my favorite Pokemon on my team here. So we are still in with our Pawmot here. He's still got his Glimmora. He's a rock-type Pokemon. I don't really want to stay up against this, just in case he may or may not have some sort of like a ground-type move. So we're actually going to swap out. We're going to do the Volt Switch, get some damage, go back to our party, and then we're going to decide what Pokemon to come out with here next. Now, as you can see, we have quite a few Pokemon on the team that we can go in with. We're going to pull a Retro here. We're going to go in with our lead Pokemon. Pull a Retro. We're going to get that going, guys. Let's pull a Retro. Let's try to find something that's a little bit easier to use for pulling a Retro. But we're going to go to our Tinkaton here. Tinkaton, of course, is a somewhat decent matchup for this Glimmora. Of course, it's a rock type. It's also a poison type. Of course, with the steel typing, can't really be affected by any kind of poison type moves. We're going to go in for that Gigaton Hammer, and that hammer is just going to wreck this Glimmora. Just one hit, knock it out. Unfortunately for us, we get a little bit more of Toxic Debris, but you know what, at this point, it's perfectly fine. We are doing an amazing job here with this team. This team is actually based somewhat around my original in-game team. You know that first Wi-Fi battle that I threw up there that you guys were like, oh man, this is like the best thing ever? Well, this is actually the best thing ever. This team is freaking amazing. And I must say, it is fantastic. I just want to give a good old shout out to my buddy Retronyte. He did help me with this team, putting it together for competitive, and I am very, very grateful for his assistance. He's going to go in for that Overheat. Overheat doing a crazy amount of damage, popping our air balloon, and Palmut, of course, is just going to barely hold on. Now, there's a couple of options that we could go with here. We could swap out, we could swap back in, but realistically, if Torkoal gets any kind of Stealth Rock set up, we're going to be in for a bit of a problem there because Palmut's not going to be able to survive that kind of a hit. So we're going to go and try to get some damage off onto this Torkoal. And here it is. Retro's recalling him. Retro's very quick to recall a lot of Pokemon and try to swap into different Pokemon that have different resistances. And that is huge for him. That is exactly how it should be played. So we get a little bit of damage off onto the Arbolivia, or Arboliva, sorry. Still getting some of the names down. So there's going to be a little bit of leftovers here. There's going to be a little bit of leftovers there. There's going to be a little bit of Grassy Seed going on. We're going to go in right for that close combat, and it is super effective, guys. We are just going to just annihilate this Arbolivia. That Arbolivia is just going to get knocked out. Luckily for us, we are going to get a little bit of health here from the Grassy Seed. Now, the Grassy Seed is kind of like Grassy Terrain. However, of course, it doesn't do any kind of like priority moves like Grassy Glide or whatnot, to my knowledge anyways. If I'm wrong, post it in the comments section below. In comes a huge threat. In comes Iron Bundle. Now, this is a Paradox Pokemon based off of the Delibird Pokemon from Generation 2. Now, he's going to go in for that Freeze Dry and, of course, get the KO onto Palmut. And that's okay, guys, because Palmut did exactly what it was supposed to. It brought back my Baxcalibur. And I am so thankful for that. So at this time, we're thinking, okay, maybe we can go with our Armor Rouge. We can maybe go with Annihilate, maybe Baxcalibur. We're going to go in with Armor Rouge. Now, Armor Rouge has a crazy high special defense, and it has a real decent special attack. It's a bit slower than some Pokemon, so you know it's going to be able to take a hit and do another attack afterwards. However, you know, it's gonna basically survive any kind of a hit that you're gonna throw at it, unless it's like a physical typing attack. He's gonna withdraw his Iron Bundle. He's gonna go back into his Torkoal, kind of see what I'm going to do. He's gonna test the waters a little bit. We go in for that Aura Sphere, and of course we just knock out Torkoal. So unfortunately for Torkoal, it is now down and out. So in comes his next Pokemon here. He's trying to decide what he's going to do. We are actually very lucky here. We still have Tinkaton, we still have Baxcalibur, thankfully to the Revival Blessing. In comes the Iron Bundle. He knows that I'm going to go for that Aura Sphere or an Armor Cannon. So here we are, we're going in, we're locked in with the, oh my gosh, I just thought of a cool idea. I should have probably gone for the Armor Cannon. However, we're going to go for the attack. He's going to go... He's going to go in for the Terrestrialization on the Iron Bundle. He's going to turn into a Fighting type. So, because we're going to go for the Aura Sphere, it's not actually going to do very much to that Iron Bundle. I really want to call it Delibird. That's kind of why my thinking is getting thrown off here. But we actually managed to do a decent chunk to Iron Bundle, and that's pretty good. However, if I maybe have gone for the Armor Cannon, it might have done a whole lot more. So we're going to just go ahead and finish off with the Psychic attack here. I don't really want to miss an Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere? Yes, Aura Sphere. So we go in for the Psychic here. We actually managed to pick up the KO. Super effective. And, you know, based on the fact that it went for the Terrestrialization of Fighting, it actually opened it up for me to allow my Pokemon to use a Psychic type move, which is super effective against, of course, Fighting types. We're going to get a little bit of damage there from the poison, and of course that's okay because we are still in the grassy seed environment. And in comes Garganical. Now Garganical, of course, is his last and final Pokemon. We're going to go in for, I believe, the Energy Ball is what we selected here. Now at this time, he's trying to decide what kind of a play he's going to go with. There's a couple of different options there for him. I believe this one specifically has Recover. I believe it has its Salt move. It's a little bit hard to predict some of these because I've only had so many battles against this Pokemon. It's so new that I'm just like, what is this thing going to do? It could do literally anything and I would have no idea. So Garganical is going to recover. It's going to take that hit pretty decent. Luckily, he was able to survive, right? So again, just going to get that health back there from his item, his lefties, and then of course from the Grassy Seed. Now, because we've been into the battle here for so long with our Armarouge, the poison is actually going to destroy us here if we don't get this Garganical taken out. So we're going to go in for that Aura Sphere, and of course Aura Sphere is going to take that Garganical right into the yellow zone. Body Press didn't do a whole lot here, but that poison, guys, that poison is going to be enough to actually knock us out here in the next turn, if I'm not mistaken. So Leftovers, of course, regaining back onto the Garnicle, and that is doing a decent job. So here we go. We go down from the poison. That's okay because we've got plenty of other Pokemon to bring into the battle. And of course, there goes the Grassy Seed. The Grassy Seed environment is now gone. We are going to bring in our Annihilape. Now, Annihilape is the evolution of Primeape. Now, if you guys have used this in your own gameplay, you know that this thing is a force not to be reckoned with. You do not want to mess with Annihilape because it will annihilate the competition. Let's just put it that way. We are going to go in for the Terrestrialization onto our Annihilape, and we are going to turn into, I believe, the Fighting type. That is what we have for our Terra type. Now, we could have gone Ghost and tried to boost up our Rage Fist here. Rage Fist, of course, is not really going to matter in this case. If we actually had the Ghost typing, that even wouldn't really help. So we're going to go in for that close combat, and we are going to pick up the KO. So good game, Retronyte. Thank you very much for the battle, and I look forward to uploading battle number 3. Alright guys, if you enjoyed that battle today, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that like button, be sure to post your comments in the comment section below. And as always, make sure you check out one of the many other battles that are listed in the playlist listed above. Have a fantastic day, I hope you guys take care, and have a good one. Peace out.